Alright, I'm about to go to sleep, so I'm gonna go ahead and review basically whatever I learned today. So, number one would be EC2. So, this is part of the compute category. So, for that, we have number one, it would be EC2. Number two would be I guess pricing, don't have to really care about that. Number two would auto scaling and load balancing. And load balancing. Let's say number three. I guess number three would be categories. I'm just gonna put the categories then. I'm gonna say application load balancer. Another one was network load balancer. And another one was, I forgot, security, right? GLWB. GLWB. GWLB. GOW. Oops. I'll just keep red. GWLB. Yeah. Okay. Multi-AZ. Oops. Okay, and lambda. 4 would be lambda. Okay, now I think that is it. Containers and Fargate. So EC2, ECS, Elastic Container Storage, and Fargate. What else is there? I think that might be it. Okay, and on to the next part, storage. Next, we'll talk about storage. Let's go ahead and get a different color. I guess we'll pick yellow. So storage is next. I think the first one will be S3. I think number two would be RDS. 3 would be MongoDB. No, that's a database. No, let's see. So, EBS. That's really, okay. It's not RDS. It's called, okay, so, Elastic EBS block storage. And I want to say another one was called, was it EFS? It was file storage, I think. And FSX, which is pretty rare. It's for like Windows configurations. FS, right? FSF. Damn. FSX. Okay, it looks like we already went through all those. Okay. Let's not worry about any of this stuff yet. Okay. Okay, now category 3 will be databases. Let's go ahead and pick something else on this color wheel. Let me go scoot this over. So number 3 is going to be databases. So I think the first one would be okay. Amazon has something, so for storage it's S3. For this one, I think it's going to be RDS. Number 2, I'm guessing it's Aurora. I want to say number 3 is going to be Dynamo. Database, like that. Alright, was it that? So yeah, I was right. RDS, Aurora, and Dynamo. I'll talk about them later. But for now, I'm just gonna go list them just so I have a good knowledge before I go to sleep. Read replicas. Maybe I should add that too. A little sub note. Okay. Read replica. Oh, is there anything else I'm missing? Okay, whatever. Okay, category 4 is networking. Let's go ahead and move down. Pick a dark green. Next is networking. So I want to say networking has something. I think it had like a VPC, virtual private cloud. Let's see. Okay. It has subnets. What else does it have? Internet gateway. Oh yeah. It has internet gateway. The ING? No, okay. And number 4, what was it had? Oh man, I forgot. Okay, let's see. Security groups. IGW. IGW. Root tables. I forgot about that. Root tables. Oops. Okay, okay, NAT, oh yeah, I forgot the NAT gateway. NAT gateway was one of them. Security groups and NACLS. And NACLS. Okay, VPC endpoints. 7 would be VPC endpoints. Okay. Load balancing, we already know that. Route 53. Route 53. Global services. Alright, I guess I could put that. CloudFront. And what's the other one called again? Global Accelerator. Damn, this is a big one. Okay, and okay. Messaging and integration. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that one. And integration. Message and integration. Let's see what they got. They got it's about decoupling is the core idea. So we learned about these 4 things. SQS. I want to say next one is SNS. Number 3 would be kinesis. Which one was another one? Event bridge. Okay, then we finished this whole entire section. We might be on to the last one actually. Category 6, security and management. Alright, well, last one is security and management. Go ahead and pick a color for that. Okay, so I want to say the first one is IAM. I think it has different categories such as role. I'm going to say KMS. Oops. Number 3. Oh yeah, there's a bunch. Like I want to say guard dog. Oh, Macy. One of them's Macy. Oh, okay. Secrets manager. Secrets manager. Another one was, oh shoot. Alright, number 5 would be CloudTrail. Okay. 6 would be config. And number 5 would be something store. Was it like what kind of store? Parameter store. I remember there's other stuff. Oh yeah, SSE. I want to say. Oh shit! Why I got? Okay, this is actually number 7. 8 would be SSE. SSE KMS. Yeah, there's additional services. AWS Shield. Let's say Macy was already called. AWS WAF. Guard duty. And Macy. At rest and in transit. I think that's it. I think we went over everything. Cool. Now we can actually talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and try to screenshot this just because it seems pretty good. Seems like we got everything needed. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this on a new Google Doc. What the hell? What the heck? I guess I'll just put this on my notes. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, now that I did that, I want to actually try to save this too. Name it everything you learned. Okay, now let's go ahead and write over it. So, from computation, we have EC2. I'm gonna go pick a new color. It might get messy up in here. I'll pick something like purple. Okay, so EC2 is kind of like you use it to custom. It's for custom things. auto scaling is to auto scale like the amount of instances you have. Load balancing is to go ahead and just load in. Load balancing is to direct traffic, kind of like a host. Application load balancer is for apps, like HTTPS, like websites. This is network load balancer. It's more for like connections. GWLB is like security. Multi-AZs, multiple area zones. Lambda is a service which can replace the EC2, but it has to be under 15 minutes. ECS and Fargate. So this stands for Elastic Container Service. And Fargate is basically ECS, except you don't have to control or worry about the server. Okay, looks like we finished compute. Let's go move on to storage. So S3 is basically a storage, which is an object storage. And it's the storage that Amazon creates. EBS is kind of like each instance of the EC2. So each EC2 can have an EBS. Usually there's one EBS for one instance. And EFS is Elastic File System storage, actually. So this is where each instance has their own EFS. So it's kind of like a global variable, while EBS is just one. It's just one instance which holds all of the information. FSX is not used too often, but let's say if you have a Windows configuration, then you could go ahead and use this one. Okay, moving on to databases. There's RDS, which is stands for, I think, a relational data system, where it's related to each other. Aurora is basically RDS except upgraded. Is equal to RDS except much better in every aspect, but it does cost more. And this is the Amazon version. And these all run SQL, so these two right here run in SQL. While DynamoDBS database, this is NoSQL, which means it runs in like a key value. And each of the values and keys are not related to each other. Read replicas are kind of just copies of the databases for RDS and Aurora. I think Aurora could have up to 15 read replicas. Basically, it just has a table. It replicates the data table, but it can only have read operations. The point of this is to speed up queries, so that instead of one database getting overloaded, it could use a load balancer so that each of the 15 databases could be accessed to spread out to fan out the traffic. Okay. Next is networking. So VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud, which is basically just Amazon's big system, and you get a portion of this, and this is called your VPC. And there's things called subnets. You could have a public one, or you could have a private one. And Internet Gateway, this is how your subnet, or this is how your VPC is able to talk to the outside. So talks to the outside. By outside, I mean the internet. So security groups are kind of just like it's like a group of commands, or actually this is security groups by, I think this is by instance, but this is like in a deeper level. Usually the answer will be security groups. Route tables is kind of just, it tells you where to route to. Um, NAT gateway, this kind of has it connects your VPC to a, I guess, a public subnet, but that public subnet has a NAT in it, and with that, it's one-way communication with the public. So the public cannot go talk back to the VPC. Instead, it would have to go through the NAT gateway. VPC endpoints is kind of a private connection between two AWS services. Basically, the VPC will talk to, let's say this is your S3 and this is your EC2. So they would communicate to each other privately and would not be exposed to the public. That's what this is. Route 53 is a DNS, domain name service. So for example, if we have google.com, it would get actually converted to an IP address. And that's what Route 53 is. CloudFront is basically making sure that your app or your database, what is this again? Your networking, your database, so your data is in every single, what is it? Every single area. So if I was to move over to like Canada, we'd already have your information replicated on the Canadian server. Yeah, I think that's similar to Global Accelerator. Okay, next, I guess I'll go over message and integration. So this is a queue system. It could have a dead letter queue, which is kind of like when a bug shows up multiple times, many times. Then we go ahead and put it inside the dead letter queue. So to debug, this is for debug. That's what the dead letter queue is. There's also something like visibility. Right? For example, visibility is something is in the first beginning of the queue. Let's say this thing, we turn it off as if it's not there anymore. So this will prevent any repeats. It'll prevent this. By prevent, I mean it's good because we don't run the same operation twice when we already ran it once. That's what visibility is for. So if anything, you see that we're getting repeat data, we could just increase the cooldown for visibility. SNS is kind of like a mailing system where we put in the request we want and it fans out to our subscribers. And this would be the producer. And subscribers. Kinesis is kind of like this is like a live stream, live data process. Event bridge is kind of event given, so event driven. So basically, an example of event bridge could be like, let's say a user makes a new account. We want to go ahead and say, hey, if user makes a new account, then we could go ahead and call AWS Lambda. Okay, lastly, for our last category, we have security and management. Let's see, IAM. There's different things like IAM user, and there's IAM group, or let's just say, I think it's called IAM roles. Right, so roles is basically a group of users which have the same amount of power. So let's say these users are actually inside. Actually, yeah, this is users, and this is the role. So any user with this role would have access to whatever this is. Say like 2 servers. KMS. This is actually let's see. Mm, okay, I don't really remember this one. I know Macy kind of detects any any vulnerabilities. For example, it could be like if like a user has like their password hard coded, then Macy could go ahead and detect that. Secrets Manager, I think this rotates. Um, I know what it rotates. CloudTrail, it kind of logs users. Um, they, I think it just logs whatever happens. Config is to make sure configurations are good. Is good. For example, a configuration is that, like, let's say this role has access to all of this stuff. That's what config does. Parameter store is not used much. I kind of forgot. SSS, SSE, KMS. I don't know. AWS Shield. This is for DDoSing, denial of service. AWS WAF. This is like a firewall for websites. I think guard duty checks for SQL injections. Okay, and I think that might have covered everything. Let's go ahead and actually look at KMS. Encryption service, okay. And I can't see the other one. Server-side encryption. Rotate keys. This one rotates keys, okay. Okay, secrets manager. So it's for credentials. More simple. Parameter store. It's simple. Simple secrets manager. Okay, so it kind of passwords and code, config files. Okay. CloudTrail logs API calls. Let's just say API calls. AWS tracks resource configuration, security group changing. Okay. DDoS. Okay. WAF is actually firewall. This is actually SQL. So I guess this is not SQL injections. Let's see what guard duty is. Threat detection. So this is actually going to be threat. Suspicious activities, compromised instances, sensitive data. Anyway, sensitive data. Okay, I think that goes pretty good for review. Go ahead, zoom out. You guys can see everything. Yeah, cool. See you guys later.